Hey, obviously I've been playing a lot with the Boots characters. I'm sure you've heard me complain about this numerous times over the various versions of this game, but a lot of my favorite characters were stuck with the Boots, and it was really hard to use them in certain situations. However, with the new Lumen Talaria, it is actually possible to make these characters work far better than they could before. So you notice two things that are different here. Aerial and Divinity. What both of those do is they buff the charge magic of the Lumen Talaria, or otherwise called the DLC Boots for short. They allow it to basically one-shot officers in some situations. It seems to be dependent on where you hit them, along with having the 1000 hit combo like buff that you get in terms of your damage for your Sacred Treasure attacks. But I have consistently, semi-consistently, one-shotted a lot of officers. So I've got a very similar setup with Zhou here, pretty much the same thing. And I'm also working on Nezha as well. Now, what I'm not entirely sure of yet is if Courage would help. So we're going to do a little science right now. Let me make sure I have some more windstorms. Yeah, I have like 14 more, so... What do I have on him? Yeah, he's pretty much got the same stuff. Okay, so I'm going to try Courage and see if maybe I can achieve one-shots a little easier. Alright, so let's find a good map here. Pretty crazy how much they're charging for this DLC, and it's like it's not even unique maps, it's the exact same maps from the base game, just reskinned, different dialogue and officers. Okay, so anyway, need to get 1000 combo. There you go. He had quite a bit of health taken off, but you get a good idea of how it works. Now, it also hits behind you, but it doesn't seem like it does the full damage there. I haven't really been able to figure out exactly how it works. Let's wait for some playable officers to spawn. Let's see. I also put some work into Human Nezha to try to make him a playable character again too. Alright, here we go. So she had full health, and that also hit her from the rear hitbox. So it didn't do full damage, but you can see that was still pretty much a one-shot.
料理の極意は掴んだ。これで四条殿も。
何やら楽しそうである。
Alright, let's go ahead and build up a combo here and then try to preserve it until I get over to Zeus.
さすがの活躍。あなたの姿、ずっと見ていたくなる。
Alright, should be good now. Yeah, so the magic counter killed him, but that still did like 90% of his health. I'll go ahead and I'll finish this run just for some more testing, but that's basically how it works. All you really need to do is get a 1,000 hit combo. Sorry, clear my throat. And then just do the heavy charge magic with the Lumen Talaria, and it usually one-shots most generics, pretty much every generic actually, and then most of the playable officers, depending on the situation. You're generally going to be breaking their guard with, you know, wind charge attack anyway, so the fact that it does it 100% all the time is not really a big deal. It's definitely a lot better than the way things were the old Talaria, because that one, the way the damage was distributed was very difficult to actually, you know, get the full damage off it, whereas with this it does it all pretty much instantly. One shot most of them. There was a one shot for sure. So Human Nessa is still a garbage character, but you can kind of make him work with this build. So I gave him Windstorm, which helps if he does take out an officer, which is kind of hard with him because of how bad his elemental procs are and his charges, especially since he doesn't have it on C5. It allows him to group everything else up, and then he can either use his C3 or his C2 EX, and you can tack on a lot of damage that way. He also has Courage, which helps to kind of compensate for the fact that he doesn't have elemental procs on any of his good attacks. And then Reach just helps because he doesn't really have any range aside from like his C4 and a little bit of AoE on his C3. And then the rest is pretty self-explanatory. So once again with him, I basically just took off some of the extra stuff and I put Aerial and Divinity. Divinity increases the charge magic damage. So you use that and Aerial and Courage and you stack it all along with... Actually, I don't think it attaches elements, so you're basically just doing raw damage. But all that kind of adds together, and depending on the hitbox and your combo count, whether you have the full 1,000 hit buff or not, it can one-shot. And then Ling Tong's pretty much set up the same way. But since I don't have courage on him, actually, I use Joyu to do the one-shots for the most part.
指示書はあなたたちが？いいお嫁さんになるには、いいお嫁さんから学ぶのが一番でしょ？
There we go.
頑張ってるね。これならみんないい奥さんになれるよ。いつもながら鮮やかな戦ぶりです。
Good old generic Joe Tai is here to get his ass kicked.
すごく頼もしいです。 さすがの活躍よ。あなたの姿ずっと見ていたくなる。大した度胸だね。この調子で旦那を転がしてやんな。
いつもながら鮮やかな戦ぶりですね。本当に勉強になります。
私が怖くないのかしら。うちの子にもこんなお嫁さんが来てくれないかしら。こんなところに命の指示書が。
So on a couple of those, I actually didn't hit them like from the front, but it still did full damage. So maybe it's just like buggy or something. It's a little bit inconsistent, but either way, it does still do heavy damage. So it's far more reliable than the base Talaria. Yeah, that one shot everybody.
一体何の真似です？要塞の要件を全て備えた人物を探したところ、勝家殿が適任だったんです。大丈夫、俺のために修行してるんだってな。何の修行か知らねえが手を貸して。
孫作様、手伝ってくれるのは嬉しいのですが、これはいい妻になるための修行で。
なんだよ、そんなら修行なんて必要ねえぜ。大凶は今のままでも最高の妻だからな。それにお前だけ修行するなんておかしいだろ。夫婦ってのはお互いに支え合っていくものだぜ。
孫作様、あなたのかっこいいとこ見ちゃった。私も真似してみようかな。
Let's see, he was hyper moded and he was on the ground, so it didn't do a whole lot of damage.
やりました。私こそ最強の妻です。あれ、これでいいんでしたっけ？でも収穫はあった。豆味噌と麦を使って。
No, I like this team quite a bit. I've actually managed to make them work, even though none of them were anything special. And Nessa still does not have his unique or DLC Sacred Treasure, but I'll probably do another run with them tomorrow. So thanks for watching. I'll go ahead and sell all this stuff and give you guys the builds one more time. Okay, so Zhou is basically the only one that matters right now. Like I said, I changed one of his slots out for Courage. Actually, I took off Windstorm for Courage, and it seems to have helped quite a bit. I'll have to do more testing on Hyper Mode officers. The DLC has like far more Hyper Mode officers than the rest of the game, so it's actually kind of interesting or good idea overall to spec for them. So it's basically Aerial, Divinity, and Courage are the things that I changed, and then the rest is all just pretty standard stuff. And then with Nezha, I'm running a pretty standard build too. I have Windstorm on him, because if he does take someone out, it definitely helps to group them all together, because you can hit them all with his C3 or his C2 EX, and that's basically the only elemental activations he has that are very reliable. His C4 is a it's a projectile attack, so it doesn't come out as quickly. It can be harder to start a combo with it. And then I have Reach on him. I'm not sure how much Reach actually helps in this game. Apparently it helps for like all the attacks, not just melee attacks. I'll have to do more testing. I might be able to put something else there, maybe bump up his damage a little more. He still pales in comparison to Human Nezha in basically every way, but I wanted to run a martial artist team because I always do that in these Orochi games. He was basically the only one that I could think of. Wansuo is pretty bad in this game too. He's definitely nothing to write home about. He does have a good Sacred Treasure, but he has terrible range on his moves, and he doesn't have a lot of elemental activations either, so that really hurts him. So for now, I'm going to put him on the team. Maybe tomorrow I'll have that video out for them. Thanks for watching. Peace. Hope this helps all the fellow Talaria lovers who got stuck with a crap Sacred Treasure. You know, people who like the speedy characters pretty much all got the shaft with that weapon. But now, you can actually make them really practical. Peace.